Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are doing our daily MLB call with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Joe Duffy, of course, the real deal when it comes to long-term success in professional handicapping, and he was recently written up in at ESPN.com, a history of pre-internet sports betting. And Joe Duffy, of course, been doing this professionally, successfully for almost 30 years. So he was featured in that article. Joe Duffy, what's it like to have been doing this one thing so well for so long?
You know, it's one of those things. I always joke with people, I don't know what I'd have to do if I had to work for a living. Now, don't get me wrong, I work my tail off, but when you love what you do, I've been a sports junkie since literally as early as I can remember. So it's a great occupation to have, and quite frankly, I'm pretty damn good at it.
There you go. Quite frankly, I'm pretty damn proud that Joe Duffy does so many videos with us, and I think the videos are very insightful and pretty useful in general. Of course, what we're looking for is betting value every day. The past doesn't really matter as far as what we're going to bet on for Wednesday, August 19th. Let's try to find some value. The first thing I want to, the first thing I have to ask you about, congratulations on your dead-on call with Jeff Samardzija in his last start. You know, we discussed that game. I said I wasn't sure about what to expect from him. You were pretty firm in expecting his struggles to continue, and you were absolutely accurate with that one. Here he's going to be going again at the Angels. Jared Weaver on the other side for the Angels, and you know how I feel about Jared Weaver, but he has been pretty decent, you know, in his minor league rehab starts, in his return to the majors in his last two starts. I think he'll be vulnerable at some point in some of his starts. Here at home against the White Sox, is that going to be one of those starts? I don't know, but what do you expect from Samardzija here, Joe?
There is no question that this is a guy who looked like, you know, he went on about a 9-start stretch where he looked like he was returning to one of the best pitchers in baseball, but he's clearly not. This is a good time to go against him. He's going on the road. I know that Weaver hasn't exactly been a stud. The thing that does worry me a little bit is these have been two erratic pitchers, and I like to use that term, consistently inconsistent. So this is one of those cases where, you know, Samardzija, as up and down as he's been this year, and we saw that Weaver found the fountain of youth briefly earlier this year, that it wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden Samardzija tosses a gem and or Weaver gets drilled. Still, all in all, Samardzija seems to be a big go against at this point. I would still lean towards the Angels with the pitching advantage.
And then Seattle at Texas, two pitchers who don't inspire confidence, right? Mike Montgomery and Martin Perez, a day game in Texas. You know, I feel like this is another one of those games. One of these guys might surprise and throw a decent start, but I think one of these guys is going to get crushed. And if that happens, probably the game goes over, even if one of the guys pitches kind of well. What do you think? Do you think an over is a good bet here? And which of these starters do you think might be more vulnerable?
I definitely think Montgomery will be. He started out tremendously. We were raving about him, 1.62 ERA in 7 starts. But now he's 0-3, 8.01 ERA over his last 7 starts. But at least Martin Perez has pitched very well against the Mariners. He's had 5 starts and 2 relief appearances, 2.67 ERA. So I think Montgomery is more likely to go against, but the over would seem like a pretty darn good play because neither one of these pitchers have been very good, and especially Montgomery seems to be a great go against.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be leaning over in that one. And then we have 2 games that feature kind of no-brainer big pitching advantages. We'll see what you have to say about about both of them. The first one I want to ask you about, you know, Minnesota at the Yankees. Ervin Santana has really been getting roughed up recently, and his peripherals are looking awful. He's not striking out anyone. He's getting hit. Here he's going to be, you know, a day game at the Yankees. On the other side, Nathan Eovaldi for the Yankees, you know, very reliable, has an excellent record all year. You know, his 12-2, so he gets a lot of wins, gets a lot of results. If there's any reason to expect anything else from Santana, then maybe want to hold off on this one. But if not, Yankees on the run line, right, Joe?
Yeah, Santana, since returning from his suspension, has been beyond atrocious. Now he does hit the road. I would think that this might be a good chance to lay the number, not so much because of Eovaldi, but certainly to go against Ervin Santana. He's been getting lit up. His ERA is now skyrocketed to 5.66. Big go against there. We pretty much agree.
Yeah, and I think because of volatility issues with Santana, I think the Yankees on the run line probably had some value. And then Corey Kluber against Joe Kelly, Cleveland at Boston. You know, I like to talk about Kelly every time because he's one of these guys who made a big prediction of great success for himself this year and wound up falling flat on his face, kind of like the Betche Correa of Major League Baseball this year. In his last start, though, he actually went 6 innings and gave up 1 run. That's an impressive start, but I'm not sure that I'm buying that at all. I think he's going to return to to getting hit, although maybe not. And then, you know, Corey Kluber, 2 great complete game starts over his last 2. Both came against Minnesota, but he can get hit a little bit more when he goes on the road, especially. Maybe we expect, what, 7 innings and 3 runs from Kluber, and I'm guessing at best 6 innings and 4 runs from Kelly. Do you agree with that assessment, Joe Duffy?
Huge pitching advantage here for Cleveland. Look, we said all along Kluber got off the kind of start we expected because these guys that are coming off a career year, Cy Young Award year, expect a little bit of a letdown early on. He had that hangover, but he has turned it around, and he's actually pitched better than a lot of people realize. Number one, if you look at his overall ERA, it's somewhat bloated because of the rough start. And number two, Kluber had gotten some non-support once he started to turn it around, but he's, over his last 18 starts, 2.78 ERA. You know, as you said, Joe Battleship Kelly is having a rough year. I see no reason why Cleveland doesn't have a huge pitching advantage in this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to play this one, though. Would you lean towards more towards Cleveland or more towards the over? Because Corey Kluber, you know, we've seen him get hit obviously many times this year, and on the road at Boston, we've seen what's happening at Fenway recently. He might be far from lights out here. You know,
we saw him definitely get hit earlier in the year, but I think Kluber is approaching returning to one of the top pitchers in the game. So I think Kelly will do his part as far as the over is concerned. I don't know about Kluber. Again, this might be another one of those cases where even the run line could be some value.
All right. Well, as of right now, I think I only have 2 real solid leans. I think I'm going to be wait and see on everything else. Definitely lean in on the Yankees on the run line and over in Seattle, Texas. What else would you like to bring to our attention from Wednesday, August 19th, Joe?
It's definitely a pretty big splits day for the Braves. Julio Teheran, 6.75 road ERA. Compare that to 2.44 at home, and he's had 12 home starts, 12 road starts. So he's clearly much worse on the road, what seemingly to be a go against, and he's going against Tyson Ross in his last 11 starts, 2.77 ERA. So the Padres would have a big advantage there. We talked about one of your favorite pitchers you didn't bring up, Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah.
Another guy. He's been tremendous at home, 1.82, but now he's on the road, 5.01 ERA. So Syndergaard, because he's developing a pretty big name pitcher, this might be a good opportunity to go against him. And we talk about it just about every time he pitches. Mark Burley very quietly just continues to roll along, 2.17 ERA over his last 13 starts.
Yeah, those are tough games, though. Do you really? I mean, we've also talked about how Philadelphia has been a profitable team, very undervalued team recently. And Adam Morgan on the other side, his overall numbers aren't that spectacular, but he can be solid. Would you really feel comfortable fading Philadelphia here at home with Adam Morgan?
The Phillies are starting to hit the wall. They've slowed down a little bit as of late, so yes, I would.
All right, Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Thanks.